Salutations, friends, and welcome to part 2 of this sketchbook. It has been literally a year since I finished the first half of this sketchbook, and fair warning, it's been quite a year. A lot has changed, and because of that, we are going to be doing this on the floor, on the rug, because I don't have my desk set up quite yet for filming. I moved into an apartment, my first apartment, so I'm still kind of getting used to that. And also, I have changed, which is why I am not quite introducing myself, and we will see sort of what that means as we go through this. So let's get cozy, get something to drink. I've got some tea in my Cthulhu mug that I am not going to tilt all the way because, and so, yeah. Let's go. We're gonna start where we sort of left off. The last you saw of this sketchbook was actually the video where I painted this for New Year's. So I am going to just flip right past that. Here is very much a sketchbook page. Some ideas for Valentine's Day cards that I didn't quite get to making. Kind of on the same realm of my Christmas cards that I made a few years ago. Storyboarding for something that never took place. This was some live sketches that I did for 21 Pilots live stream they did back in January. Character profiling for D&D, a poem that might turn into something. This is when I put together my landscape palette for watercolors. I finally made my own palette, and so this was the color choice that I used. I did some cows. I actually really love this color palette. I've got some designs for a comic character. This is, I guess this does count as an OC. I never really labeled them OCs, but I guess this really does count. I went through Damien Haas's Instagram page and just picked some poses because he always posts some very dynamic poses. And here's me practicing mixing with the colors. Some Anne, Green Gables. There's some pages that I'm going to skip over just because they have a lot of personal stuff or information on them. So that's where you see the little snail paper clips is just pages that have too much that I don't feel comfortable showing on the internet. Here is my D&D character that I was playing as. His name is Dorian. I based his looks very much off of Damien Haas just because at the time I had a bunch of pictures saved from his Instagram, and so I really liked this sort of pose that he was doing. So it is not Damien Haas. He for sure doesn't have the personality of Damien Haas, but I liked this pose, and so that's sort of where I was at. He's a necromancer. He's an undead necromancer. So he was really fun to play, and he is probably one of my favorite D&D characters that I've played. Here I was drawing with my cousin, and so I was teaching her how to draw really simple things. We were drawing houses, flowers. This was a monster that she made up. So, yeah, this is his name. She wrote this, so that's his name. And this is what it sounds like. So, his powers is that he draws over people. So I told her I was going to put it in my D&D campaign, which I still may, if I get back into playing D&D. Speaking of D&D, there's a lot of this, which is, excuse you, there's a lot of this for a while, which was planning for my campaign that I was running, that I was DMing. So a lot of this is for that. So character designs and whatnot, maps, more character designs. This, for the most part, is design work. I have a hard time designing my own faces, and I have such an affinity for faces. I tend to go and pull faces off of celebrities or people that I know. So this was from one of the guys from Critical Role. Here's Evan Kelp from Dimension 20. there's more storyboarding. I was outside drawing trees, and these are my mom's chickens, so more character design. This is when I went to see Renfield. I put it in here because they don't care for how this painting turned out. Okay. We need to relocate. Relocate. Here. You can lay on the box. Lay on the box. I was going through a bit of art block, and so I threw on I threw on a Casey Golden video and was just sort of drawing along with her, which her style is very different from what I'm used to, so that was kind of a fun little exercise. And then this little goat, I really like how he turned out. More D&D stuff, more character design, ideas for potentially a Crowley cosplay in the future, more D&D stuff, Welsh lessons. We've got Lucian from the Underworld series, several of him, sketches. This is sort of for this piece. This is one of my players' characters' family. Still very stiff when it comes to anatomy, but I'm working on it. We've got more of a sketchbook page, just brainstorming costume ideas and whatnot. This is where we kind of go into the red and black era. I'm very much in a red and black era right now, and I feel like this is one of the first pieces that I did where I focused a lot on the red and black. It's because I have this jacket that I want to completely redo because it's a little tight in some places, and I want to actually end up lengthening it, and I want the whole thing to be kind of have the feel of the Desolation Row video from My Chemical Romance. It's one of my favorite music videos, and I love that song. So I was sort of doing some designing here for what I wanted on the back and how I wanted it to look. And then I just did a study from the video itself. And going back to my emo roots, I drew Gerard Way. This doesn't come back. I have not gotten back into My Chemical Romance. It was kind of just I wanted something red and black to draw, and so red and black, My Chemical Romance, at least at the time. And I also drew like a red and black sort of church thing, a gargoyle-esque situation, and some self-portraits. And this is when I started getting into Ghost. Now, here's another D&D character that I didn't have a name for. I had to make him up on the spot, and so he ended up being Soto. So here is, if Soto was a tiefling, that's what I think he would look like. And just notes from the campaign. And here's where we get into some of the gender bullshit that I've been kind of going through mentally. So this was, I was kind of planning out my tattoos, and so that's what that is. This was another character that I had to make because I lost Soto, and so now we've got Impious, who is the executioner. I did this based off of a picture of Peter Steele, I believe, where he's like looking up and just like chugging a beer or something. He's chugging a bottle of something. And I just changed the positioning and gave him a sword and that kind of thing. Avatar, my new obsession. I love this band. I love the visuals. I love the storytelling. I love everything about it. The music is phenomenal. If you are into sort of heavier music and you like circuses and clowns and storytelling, this is the band for you. Please go check them out because they are phenomenal. And this was done with a ballpoint pen and then some paint pens for the darker blacks and the red. I'm covering up this page because I don't want it on the internet. Anyway, so here's some designing for a large painting that I'm currently working on. I'm also covering this up because I just don't like the way that it looks, and also it's of somebody that I don't feel comfortable like putting out there. So here's more, I guess, thumbnailing for the painting. This is going up in my living room. I've got it about maybe 40% the way done at this point. I got a lot of detailing that I need to do. So that's what that is. Here is some Sleep Token. I am not like a huge fan of a lot of their music. I like some of it. Some of it's really good and like to my taste, but a lot of it really isn't. However, I love their design. I love the lore. I love the look, especially these new masks are just incredible. Love them. So I had to draw them. I used my new supplies that I got myself for Christmas. So this is some new micron pens and grays, and then water soluble graphite pencils. Here we have some Mary Gore. I am kind of obsessed with their imagery at the moment. So there's not a lot of Mary Gore, I think, in this sketchbook, but in my newest sketchbook there is quite a bit. Here we just have sort of a filler page. This was just me trying to fill up space to get this over with before New Year's. And so I've got this painting from my mom. She gave it to me for Christmas, and then some stuff from Vampire Freaks, and I went to a market called Market of the Beast down in Seattle. So that's what that is. And here we have some self-portraits on this page, and then also some of Dead from Mayhem. There was a moment there, pretty heavy moment, where I was kind of, I get very obsessive about things, especially learning about things, and true crime is one of those things. So I started getting into black metal, in turn getting into like the story of Mayhem, and specifically Dead is the one that stuck out to me. His story, which is super tragic and super sad and gruesome, and I would not recommend like reading about it or learning about it if you are sensitive to that kind of stuff, especially with like suicide and self-harm. I would kind of just stay away from Mayhem in general, but I really like their music. I really like black metal. I have since gotten very into black metal, and so that's what this is. And then some just journaling about feelings that I had while sort of, I guess, studying the case. Yeah, and then these are two selfies that I took that I actually really liked the way that I look in them. So that was. If you watched my last sketchbook tour, you know I do a lot of geometric stuff. So especially when I'm anxious or bored, or when I just need something to sort of take over my mind for a bit. So that's what this is, just some red and black geometric bullshit, and then I journaled over top of it. That's a common theme, is me drawing things and then just like writing over top of it, or behind it, or whatever. And then here's some Pinterest sketches. So these are just images that I were on my Pinterest page. So Fozzie, because of course we have to have a Muppet in there. And this is the same thing, more Pinterest stuff. That's that, and then a punk. And then the rest of this is just filler. I just threw in all of my 100 subscriber little sketches, and so that's that. And then there's some blank pages that I didn't quite fill up at the end, but what are you gonna do? And then some swatches for some of my supplies that I've gathered over my time of having this. That is that. that is the end of that sketchbook. I got to a point where I was just done. I was just done with it. I was over it. I was done working on it. So that's that. The next sketchbook that you will probably see is this one, which I was working on while I was working in this one because it's a little bit smaller. I could take it with me places, but I'm about halfway through here, so that's going to be the next one. So keep an eye out for that. I hope to be posting more videos. I hope to be posting more content here in the near future. I really want to get back into editing and posting and making things. So that is that. There is going to be quite the rebrand here in the future, in the near future. So things might start looking a little bit different. They may start sounding a little bit different. Aesthetics are changing as I sort of grow to embrace who I feel that I truly am and the things that I truly enjoy and the things that I want in life. So I hope you stick around on this journey with me, and hopefully we can both get through it and come out as better people, or happier people at least, on the other side. So yeah, thank you for watching. Rufus says hello. And goodbye.